So it would have been the
Australian.
eagle jizzing on the magpie.
I think so.
Dude, my heart beat right there. That's like the most American thing I can think of. Just
Just-
an eagle busting a nut on some loser. You know what I mean?
That's like what your country stands for, is like coming on the less fortunate.
Yeah.
You get to the top, you could jizz on who you want.
Swim
dude.
out of that cum and then come on someone else.
Hey, welcome to episode 24 of the Luke and Lewis Show. We've got a very special guest.
We made it.
Very special guest.
Episode 24.
A very special guest, Andrew Schulz.
Never thought we'd made it.
We did make it. We absolutely did make it. Andrew Schulz is on this episode of Luke and Lewis Show. We did it in his hotel room. So if you want to see more of the fancy studio, if you're new to the show, check out some previous episodes if you enjoyed this one. But we had Andrew while he was down in Melbourne doing shows.
Very DIY in our first out of studio episode.
Yes.
So, it was some grassroots podcasting, but it's great to see.
Yeah. So Luke and I both opened for him for his Melbourne shows, and that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And we thought we would have a bit of a chat
And
in
for
his
those
hotel room.
from Australia who may not be familiar with Andrew, because we don't know who's going to be listening to this one,
Yeah.
maybe a lot of Americans, maybe a lot of Australians. Andrew is quite a well-known American comedian.
From New York. He's been absolutely smashing it recently. He just released a crowd work special, 100% crowd work, just hit 1 million views.
1 million.
Which is insane. So he's killing it now, and this is a really good episode. I hope you guys enjoy it.
24, we did it.
Woohoo!
Can't believe it. Enjoy the episode.
Andrew Schulz, welcome to the Luke and Lewis. Oh, fuck.
Keep it in.
Lewis is nervous.
Keep
Lewis
it
is
our
nervous.
first big guest.
You gotta keep
Andrew
it in.
Schulz.
What's our
welcome.
show called?
The
Welcome,
show.
welcome,
I just had
Andrew.
a stroke.
Thank you
Welcome.
guys for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So you're in Melbourne at the moment.
Yes.
We all did the show last night. Two
Yes.
shows.
We've
Well
crashed
done,
your
guys.
hotel room.
Yes, you have. We're doing this inside the Peppers Hotel. Thank you very much, Peppers.
Yes. And how are you finding Australia so far? You've almost wrapped up the tour.
Yeah, we've almost wrapped up the tour. Australia's been very fun. And it was tricky. I think Mark said it best. We flew into... Mark is the guy who's opening for me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mark Gagnon, very funny guy. Go check him out. But we said we flew into Adelaide.
Yeah.
And
Not the best first impression of
I
Australia.
would have gone straight back.
yeah, he said, I would rather fly into the Twin Towers.
Yeah. There's not much going on in Adelaide other than
Adelaide
fights
was
in
brutal.
parks.
Yeah, but you know what's weird is like those crowds are often the best in a lot of ways,
Yeah.
where like they just really appreciate that you came.
Yeah.
You know,
They call it the city of churches. That's how it's known.
that's always fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean
Yeah.
that's when you know your place sucks.
Yeah,
Like, if
yeah.
you-
They said old people and criminals go there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much. Or
Yeah.
they call it Radelaide, but that's definitely
no,
ironic.
everyone else calls it Radelaide. No one there knows about it.
What does that mean?
Because
It's
it's ironic. 'Cause
radical.
It sucks. Radical because it
Yeah.
sucks.
I thought you
It's
meant rats.
no,
Okay,
it's-
no, yeah.
Radelaide.
Radelaide because
Yeah.
it's like it sucks.
some Aussie sarcasm.
Yeah.
Well, my theory
It's
is,
the height of comedy here.
yeah, any town in Australia that has a nickname, that means it's a shithole.
Yeah.
Ah,
You know,
So-
Melbourne doesn't have a nickname, neither does Sydney.
But Brisbane, Goldie,
Brizzy.
Bris Vegas,
Bris
people
Vegas.
call it.
You guys find it? Have you been to Vegas?
No,
Okay. Have you been to Miami?
no.
no,
Just been to LA, New York.
L.A.,
Yeah.
New York. I find it way more like Miami than Vegas.
I think it's.
I found Gold
definitely
Coast like
ironic.
LA.
Gold Coast.
Yeah.
Wait, where were we in? We were in Gold Coast.
Yeah, I thought that reminds me of LA for some reason.
You got to go to Miami.
Yeah.
It is Miami. I mean, beach right there. Everybody's kind of
More like the
done
Venice
up.
Beach type area, like that kind of bit where it's like, oh, this is a bit shit, but I don't hate it. You know?
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe I wasn't in that part. Maybe we were just by like the.
No, I
casino
just
and,
haven't
like,
been
the
to
hotels.
Miami.
Yeah, I think that's what
Yeah.
it is. I'm right. I'm right. I'm
Yeah.
right. I'm right.
You know what? I noticed
At least
the
you can
biggest,
fucking speak. Anyway,
yeah, I know. The biggest difference that I noticed going to New York and LA especially was the difference between our homeless people and yours. Like we got homeless people, but
Rarely,
your guys are homeless.
Oh yeah.
Like
Big
they're
time.
not getting out of that trap.
No. You're homeless for life, and they're often mentally ill.
Yeah.
It's rare you find a homeless person that's not mentally ill.
Yeah.
Even if they're like someone who was on drugs and the drugs made them homeless, it was actually they were mentally ill, so they went to drugs.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
they became
Yeah.
homeless. But yeah, it's a big problem. But that's the healthcare shit. That's not even a homelessness thing. That's
Yes.
no healthcare.
Yeah.
So there's no system to put them in. if they're fucked up.
Yeah.
Right? So their family dies, like their parents die, and they have nobody to pay the bills.
You guys are just terrified of helping each other.
Bro.
And that's why you're winning,
Dude,
right? But that's why there's a lot of losers as well.
Exactly. With winners, there's losers, right?
Yeah.
But it's like, that's so true. We don't want to help each other because there's this like individual spirit that exists in few places.
Yeah.
You know, everybody's like, don't get me wrong. It's a way better society for the middle if everybody helps.
Yes, yeah.
But none of us are in this business to be in the middle.
No way. That's what I realized about America. I was like, this would be amazing if I was
You're
rich.
at the top.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's built for the rich, and then everything else is propaganda to keep the poor from killing the rich.
Yes.
Right? It's like USA, and then the rich people are like, are they singing it? All right, good.
Yeah. See, I feel like I hated LA when I went there, but that's because I was staying in a hostel on Hollywood Boulevard, and that's because it was a hostel. You know, I walked outside and fucking Hulk would try and demand a photo with me, and I was like, cool, dude.
Yeah, Hollywood sucks, dude.
It's the worst place on earth.
Yeah, for anybody who's like listening, there's Hollywood, which is like the movies, but there's also a street, Hollywood Boulevard.
Yeah.
Not good.
It's all like panhandlers and like homeless
It's just like
people.
Madame Tussauds and like
it's shit.
Yeah.
Starbucks. That's it.
It's like LA's Times Square, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't it feel like that?
No, I like Times Square. I kind of liked it. But what's the beach in LA? The famous beach?
Venice
or
Beach.
Santa Monica.
Yeah, I went to Venice Beach, right? This is my first impression of LA. I just landed, I woke up, and then went to Venice Beach. I'm like, can't wait to see Venice Beach. And some guy walks up to me and he goes, "Oi, look at this! Look at this!" And he has this fucking wound in his leg. He goes, "Look at this! I got a wound!" And I was like, "Yeah, you do, man." And then he went and showed 7 other people. And I was like, "Fuck, I'm in LA."
Healthcare, baby.
And he wasn't acting.
Who wants healthcare, dog? You know what I mean? You got open wounds in the street. That's entertainment.
I know. He was just kind of impressed. He's like, "Look, I'm still alive."
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Ah, you gotta love it.
Now,
God bless America.
guys, I'm kind of pissed. I'll be honest. It's currently we're recording this on grand final day. Now, Lewis doesn't give a fuck about footy. Neither
Don't
do
care
you.
about
Neither does
sport.
anyone here. Zach's from the Gold Coast. No one else here gives a shit.
I want to care.
Yeah, but there's a part of you.
And we're
that
talking about AFL.
Doesn't even. Last night you asked on stage who's playing.
Yeah, I didn't know who was playing.
Yeah.
But I want to care. That means I want to care. Giants versus
true.
Tigers, bro. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Richmond.
who are you going for?
Richmond Giants.
Yeah,
That's a good.
the Richmond Giants. Yeah, man, that's who fucking Lewis is going for. That's a good choice. Lewis is going for the Richmond Space Cadets, man. He doesn't even
Richmond
know what's
Giants.
happening.
I only found out that the Tigers were in the grand final. We have a running joke on our show where footy comes into my life so rarely that we just wait until I find out, see how long it takes.
It took
for
him
footy
3
to come
weeks.
into my life.
Oh no, 5 weeks after the last year's grand final to find out the result.
Because if I don't Google it, right, everyone knows that I don't care, and Facebook knows me so well that they won't show me anything
None of it.
sport. He's not interested.
None of
so the way that I found out last year,
Yeah.
the grand final, was I was in Tasmania. We saw some guy had a tattoo of Eddie Maguire, who's a guy who owns like a footy team, coming on the mascot of the people who lost. And that's how I found out because he lost a bet.
That he had to come.
He had to get the tattoo.
So he got a tattoo
dude.
of the mascot of the team that won coming on the mascot of the team that lost.
Yeah.
Like a tattoo of like the
he
magpie
wasn't actually-
jizzing on the eagle because they
Oh,
magpies.
I thought he was actually coming himself on.
Yeah,
No,
It was like a
he
picture.
just
Oh, no, actually, it would've
branded
been-
on him forever.
but it would have
That's
been Eagles one, though,
Very
so it would have been the
Australian.
eagle jizzing on the magpie.
I think so.
dude.
Yeah,
I didn't
and
look
that's
at it
how
for
we
too
found
long.
out the result. Not like I read a paper.
My heart beat right there. That's like the most American thing I can think of. Just
Just-
an eagle busting a nut on some loser. You know what I mean? Just some
Yeah.
communist flag just soaking it up.
That's
Let's
almost
go.
is your flag.
It is.
That's like what your country stands for. Is like you're right. We're just talking about like coming on the less fortunate.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get to the top, you could jizz on who you want.
Swim out of that cum and then come on someone else.
Yeah,
But you got to
absolutely.
earn it, buddy.
And right now, for me, I look at that and I'm horrified. That's horrible. But
Yeah.
pretty soon,
You're
I'm
like,
going to be
I want
coming,
it.
and I'll be like, "This is sick."
Oh, dude,
Yeah.
once you're coming, it's the best.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because when I went to LA, I was the one being jizzed on. I felt like I got
sucks.
jizzed on for 5 days.
Yeah,
you
it's
know,
brutal.
it was terrible.
It's probably all the
I
brothels
think
you went to.
we talk about it all the time. I was only there for 5 days of my life, and I wanted to go home after 3.
Really?
Yeah.
That bad?
Well, I just didn't really I was getting Ubers everywhere, and it was so expensive, and I had one friend there, and it's such a big place.
You can never meet people. You
Yeah,
can do one
it's-
thing per day.
Yeah, and I didn't go to
Yeah,
Disneyland. I
one
didn't do all
thing.
the cool shit.
Yeah.
And I went.
thought- yeah.
One time I walked 5. One day, just for something to do, I just walked 5 hours to the top of the Hollywood sign. because I had nothing else to do.
Nothing to do.
Yeah, I was just like walk from Hollywood Boulevard all the way to the top.
Why'd
of the
you
sign.
even go?
I just wanted to see it because
Yeah.
see it. I was like, oh, Hollywood, that's the thing. And then I went there and I was like, I just wanted to go to the store and the Laugh Factory and stuff.
Yeah.
So
Oh, for
at
comedy.
night it was great.
Yeah.
And then during the day, while I was waiting around to go to the gigs, I just was like,
Yeah, LA can be
hanging out.
depressing. If you're not there working, it's brutal.
Yeah, it seems
really-
like
it
it
breaks
seems it could
people.
be very isolating.
It breaks people, dog. You see
Yeah.
girls go there like, with full hopes and dreams, and then they become like Pilates instructors and shit, and like
Yeah.
they take that real serious, and it's just like filling a void, man.
that was one of the crazy things I noticed. I went to just an open mic night at the Improv one day just to see what was like, just to
broken
see what it
dreams
was.
look like.
Yeah. And
Sad.
put my name in the hat, and all the comics were like, oh man, we might get on tonight. And I was like, what the fuck? There was
yeah?
130 people there. They're like, oh, but it was the night before Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So they were all like, oh, a bit of a quiet one.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Fuck.
there's 15 spots. Dude, if there was 30 people signed up for an open mic here, I'd be like, oh, I'm just going to go home.
Yeah.
50% chance I get on.
Yeah.
No
Yeah,
way.
it's a crazy scene.
And half of them were just girls who were like, they
My
can tell they
acting
didn't want to
coach
be
told me I needed to do
comedians.
stand-up.
Someone had told them like, just do anything, sign up to anything.
Yeah, I
It was
mean,
a real like get famous thing.
I like empathize. Usually as comics, we're like, fuck anybody who uses comedy to get something else, right? But like, I empathize with the actors that do it because there is no way that you can become an actor without acting, and you can't act if people can't see you in anything. So it's this weird catch-22. It's like, give me a shot, and then the director's like, well, how do we know you're good? And you're like, well, you got to give me a shot so I know I'm good. And the director's like, well, I'm not going to risk my reputation on you telling me you're good. So you need to like prove you can actually do something. And improv or stand-up are these great tools because you can say to a director, hey, come out to my show. And then they see you, they laugh. And to be honest, stand-ups make the worst actors.
Yeah.
Improv guys, I've done films with them and like TV shows with them. Improv guys are incredible because they don't have the ego we have. They throw alley-oops to each other.
Yeah,
They
true.
understand the scene.
Yeah.
Like, we want the line.
Yeah.
We want the funny line.
They're like, a laugh for all of us is a
Is
laugh for the team. Yeah.
Dude, and like there was a guy who was like a really funny that I did the show with. He was a really funny improv actor. And I mean, he would crack me up all the time off camera, but it was his job, his character's role to like set everybody else up. And that sounds like the worst job ever for a comedian.
Oh yeah, like throwing shit up so that other people can get a laugh.
See, you're made fun of, you're bullied just the whole time. Like it's just brutal. So, but they try.
That's what I have to do on this podcast all the time, just to give Lewis a chance.
Oh, fuck off,
like
cunt.
I'll constantly throwing out bangers because I'm like, you got to get one eventually. You know?
It's really hard to be funny when you can't speak English. It does make it difficult.
That's funny. So Australia. What fascinated me last night was just how intrigued you were at our culture when I would say we have none.
Yeah. You know,
You're like, so what's an Australian food? And we're like, oh, sausages.
We had to talk for half an hour until Andrew could get like an Australian food out of us.
Yeah.
And all we really landed on was like, oh shit, hot dog.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah, because we were like, go to Bunnings, get a sausage and bread. And you're like, I've had a hot dog. And we're like, no.
Yeah. You just make other food worse.
pretty much.
It's like,
Yeah.
like we have this great bun for a hot dog. You're like wrap it in bread. Chicken Parmesan was great by itself.
Yeah.
Like, add ham and fucking meat sauce.
Yeah, but did you even try it?
Absolutely not.
You said you were going to try it. then
I
you
stand
found
by the
out.
Palmer.
I'm not gonna do it, dude. I like the name. I love your. So you guys have no culture in the way that we see culture, but you had like what we think culture is. We think culture is like art and music and that kind of shit.
Yeah.
And like you have like whatever those Aboriginal paintings are where they just use dots. And
Yeah.
like Kylie Minogue. That's your fucking music, right?
Yeah.
But
And
I
Kylie
think-
Minogue's
By
not
the
really
way,
Australian
I've never
culture.
been more
Yeah.
offended by the Kylie Minogue.
Whatever.
because
Who
she's
gives a
not
fuck?
really Australian culture. She's more like gay culture.
Is she?
Yeah.
Oh, she's
Yeah.
like the.
She's a gay
I
icon.
Got it. She's a gay icon because
Yeah.
she's like a girl and they want to be okay. So, so in the way that we think culture exists, you guys don't have it. But I think culture is way bigger than just that fucking stupid like elitist artsy bullshit. Like I see your
Yeah.
culture as the way that you interact and live life. So like what I kind of tap into are like all these like sayings that you have, your attitude about things, and like you have this great demeanor. Like there is this like yearning, it feels like, to enjoy the moment here. Like
Yeah.
Australians never seem to be like, like French people always thinking. They're just fucking sitting around thinking.
I never
all
do that,
fucking day.
dude.
Australians no think.
No.
Do.
Yeah, that's
right?
it.
Laugh, joy, this, that,
Yeah.
boom.
It's a
next
real
thing.
larrikin culture.
Say again?
Larrikin culture
What does
is
that
what
mean?
it's called. Like, larrikin's just like happy-go-lucky.
That
Yes.
guy who
jokester.
just like kind of like a larrikin here would be like but you call it a douchebag maybe, like the guy who does the keg stand. But
Yeah.
here
Yeah.
everyone loves that guy. In America, it's like that guy's the jock.
No, we love him too. It's
Oh,
just
okay.
these pussy ass liberals that like are like, oh, he's
Yeah,
a, he's
right.
you know, he's a what is it called, toxic masculinity or whatever. But like those are the people that make shit go around.
See,
right?
Yeah.
Zach, our tour manager back in the day, larrikin. I
Yeah.
mean, I've heard some stories.
Bogan.
Yeah.
This is Bogan.
Yeah, I mean,
Yes.
he's from a town, 14 hours outside of Rockhampton, and I consider Rockhampton
Too far away.
the country. Like, that's rural.
Yeah.
And you're 14 hours outside of that.
Well, I love it. I think it's great, and I think it's like it's kind of like Asian in a weird way. It's like Buddhist to your culture.
That's probably all the Asians.
Yeah, I think so.
It's probably because that's half the people that live here.
No. I mean, like, I think it just happened organically, but it's like, so many people that are here, it's this like weird second chance type of thing. Not really second chance, but like, some prisoner shit. You're here.
Well, yeah, we were a prison colony first.
Yeah.
So we have we don't like or respect authority
Right,
very
we were
much.
talking
We'll
about
follow
this.
the rules, but
Yeah,
we
yeah.
hate the people in charge.
Yeah.
Right? There hasn't been a prime minister at like a sports event that hasn't been booed if
Yeah,
they
yeah.
come on TV. We've
Yeah.
never liked one ever. Hasn't
Yeah.
ever happened yet. We always take the piss out of people who are trying to be different.
All the like there's this page that's like pretty much sums up Australian culture. This
Brown
Instagram page,
cardigan.
Brown Cardigan, right?
Yeah.
So like you're
I know,
aware.
dude. I'm plugged in, bro.
So
That's Australia.
that's Australian culture. Is like there's stuff that used to go around in there of people filming our ex-prime minister on a beach, Tony Abbott. He's the Onion guy, wears
yeah.
the Speedos.
Yeah.
People filming him doing his own selfie political campaign on the beach. Randoms just going like having a good old laugh, and then that video gets more views than his actual fucking campaign. And
Love
that's
it.
our culture.
Have a laugh.
It's just like,
Enjoy.
this guy. Look at this guy trying to do his best. Fuck him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's Buddhist in the way that's like enjoy now.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just like we're just gonna enjoy right now. This is
Yeah.
what matters.
Well,
right now.
what do you guys enjoy then?
We enjoy achievement and accomplishment.
Yeah.
And we always have to be doing something. I don't think that you guys have to be doing something. I think that just having fun is doing for you. And back home, it's like achieve. To do
Yeah.
is our
Yeah.
verb.
Like-
It's like,
Do you ever just go sit at the pub?
no. See, that doesn't exist. It's like, if we go to the pub, it's like,
You there.
there's a game.
Yeah, you need a reason to go.
Our motivation
Yeah.
in America is always to do. And when do we do it? It's now.
Yeah,
Right? And you guys are like, we'll do it later.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Because fun is now.
Yeah.
Which I think is like a really healthy culture. Like if you think of like the world's idea of Australians and outside of Crocodile Dundee and shit, just like the people that you've bumped into, the Australians you've bumped into in your life, right? You've never been like, they're a stoic group of people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Those guys just sitting around thinking, writing into their notebooks. No, right? Anytime you hear about Australians, just like, oh yeah, he was fun, he was a good guy, man,
Yeah,
we were
right.
drinking, it was a laugh, blah blah blah. So it's
Yeah.
like that permeates the culture, and I think it's healthier. Like you
Yeah.
guys will boo your prime minister, but you're never gonna revolt.
No.
No.
Because you're like, oh, we got to
Because we know the
organize.
prison guards have guns and we
Yeah,
don't.
Well, I think there's that, but you're also
Yeah.
like, but we could just drink.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
as long as they don't restrict all your fun, I feel like if they come after your fun, then you guys will go crazy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, well that's what happened when the brown cardigan meme page got taken down.
So you went nuts.
yeah, because I mean, if you look at the rules of Instagram, should have been taken down. They post videos of people pissing, people
Right.
on drugs, like
Yeah.
a lot of nudity and stuff.
Yeah.
But because it's such a cultural staple of Australia, it got taken down.
Yeah.
Even our mainstream media
Was
wrote
pissed.
articles and was
Yeah.
like, "What's going on? This is
But
bullshit."
if like if one day they just got rid of a whole political party, people would be like, all right,
Yeah.
let's just go pub.
Totally fine.
Yeah.
It's nothing.
Yeah.
It's like you know what you value and you know your core value, and if you take that away,
Yeah.
then you guys will fucking lose it. It's like how Americans we feel about like freedom, right?
Yes.
It's like once you tell me you're taking my freedom, even though like guys, we don't even care. Like we don't fucking care.
Yeah.
But like once it seems like you're taking away something that I'm supposed to be free to do, all of a sudden we love doing that.
Yeah.
You fucking need. How dare I want to buy an AK-47?
Yeah.
Do you have one? No, but I should be able to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
How
like-
many people even have that gun?
Yeah.
Like, nobody has this gun.
And if they have it, what are they actually using it for?
Nothing.
Yeah.
Shoot pigs from a helicopter.
Yeah.
Like, literally, what are you using this gun for? But if you take it away, we freak out. And I think your version of that is joy. It's like,
Yeah.
give us
Yeah.
all the rules you want,
Well-
do all that other shit. Don't you fucking touch our fun.
Dude, I still remember the day they banned Mexican waves at the cricket. I don't even go to the cricket, and I was like, that's
Oh, yeah.
fucked.
What is that? This?
So like the whole
Yeah.
crowd, so it's like 1, 2, 3, and it's always Bay 13, right? And it's like where all the hooligans kind of like hang out, and
Yeah.
they always start it, and it's just fun. Like, but the thing is, people started throwing up their drinks, so like you'd watch it go around, and everyone would go up, but also like heaps of cups kept flying up,
Full
and
of
everyone was
beer.
getting.
You know
wet,
why they
and-
banned it? Because someone pissed in a cup and Mexican waved it onto a 9-year-old girl.
what?
And it was news, and then they banned it, and everyone was like, an adult man threw piss at a child, but we were more angry that we couldn't do the wave anymore because
Yeah.
that's fun.
The actual story was like Mexican wave banned. I didn't even know about that.
Oh yeah. What do you mean we can't throw piss at children? Boo!
No, I think that's the only time when that's acceptable.
Yeah. Even she would have been like, woo!
Bro, that is so true. I think we figured out Australia right there.
Yeah.
Take anything you want. Do not take our
Do
fucking
not
fun.
take our
That's
joy,
it.
man.
And that act right there is the most Australian act. It is, I'm going to do what's fun and not worry about what happens afterwards. I'm going to throw my beer in the air because it
Piss.
creates a wave.
Did you say beer?
Maybe
Piss.
there's piss, whatever like that. And I'm not even considered that the piss is going to land on me.
Yeah.
But this part is so much fun. So
Yes.
who cares about
Yeah.
who cares about the come down, right? But that is like the way you should live.
Absolutely.
I mean, like, listen, it's not the way that the three of us should live all the time. Like, we have to be focused on the future because we're in a really competitive business and we
Yeah.
got to go. But if you are,
After this, I'm going back to the suburbs, watching the grand final with my mates. I'll be throwing piss by 4 p.m. Dude.
all right, fuck it.
Like-
Then that's the move.
Yeah, and I'll come to your show tonight, and you'll be
You're
like, how's
lucky
the
we
piss
didn't
story? I'll be
bring
like,
piss.
dude, it was great.
I just think it's a life balance that I think we could all use. You know what I mean? Like, we need to have fun. We need to enjoy the shit. And I think that, like, with stand up, we are forced to have the moments where we're throwing the piss because being on stage is a long throw of piss.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's 45 minutes of us just throwing, it doesn't land. And
Yeah.
then it's over. You deal with the repercussions of what you said.
Yeah.
Some blogger could get pissed off, you know,
Yeah.
some audience member, this, that, the other. But it's a rare art form because people in business, they don't get that. They get like the deal closes and then there's one little throw of piss and then it drops and they're like, okay, what's the next deal?
Yeah.
You know? So
So, like,
Yeah.
you just brought up then, like, bloggers and stuff. Obviously, like, you know, I saw your show last night. Is it common, or do you just not even attract those people anymore?
I don't think I attract them, man. I think that we kind of like really curated what my base is.
Did you used to get that kind of stuff, like a bit of backlash? 'Cause-
Oh yeah, I get tons of backlash. I mean, like I mean, everything that could happen at a show has happened to me at a show.
Yeah.
You know, but just fights or people throwing shit on stage and that kind of shit. But like, eventually, we just curated like what I do, and I'm very transparent about what I do. Right? I'm like, I'm going to do these jokes, and they're going to be edgy, and they're going to talk about topics you're not supposed to
Yeah.
talk about, and it's a fun thing for me to specifically do that.
Yeah.
And then I bring out people who want that experience. And I mean, we were talking before we started recording. It's like the people that want that experience are not what the bloggers say, right? The bloggers make it seem like the people who want that experience are these fascist, like
Yeah.
right-wing nuts. Like, you go to my crowd, I guarantee it's the most diverse.
Well, we were
It
talking.
was.
Luke and I were talking about
we
it.
couldn't get over it last night.
In Australia, I've never seen that many like black people at a comedy show.
Yeah.
And that's your crowd,
Yeah.
you know? Like
And
I
it's like-
haven't seen that for years.
What's crazy is like you don't have to like pander to anybody for them to come out. They just
No,
have
you're
to-
not doing- you're not
never. If
being like,
anything,
hey.
I'm like attacking every
Oh,
group.
you attacked everyone last night. It was great.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
that's the thing. It's like they
It's
want to
fair.
be part of it.
Yeah.
You know, like even the closer, the closer is I don't want to give too much away, but like the closer will go at a group and that's an honor. You get the closer.
I actually didn't think
Yeah.
that was one of the most offensive parts of the
No,
show.
it's
I thought
not.
that was probably one of the least offensive
Yeah.
because, well, I mean, not topic wise, you cover some other topics in the show that's
Right, that
a
are more
lot
harsh.
more
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
just the subject line alone. If you got that emailed to you, you'd be like, oof, you know what I mean? But like then once you break it down and stuff, it's like Just a joke. But man, you were like table slapping funny. That's what I noticed.
Thank you, man.
So like people
You don't
around
hear
me
that
last
often
night,
here.
like they laughed so hard that they're like, I must do something with my hands. Like they just start hitting. They're hitting their friends. They're hitting their seat. One guy beside me just started hitting the air. He was like, I'm just doing this. It was great, man. I haven't seen like the last time I saw like hand slapping funny was when I went and saw Theo Von a few months
Theo,
ago
he's so great.
in Melbourne. That was the last time I actually saw like hand slapping funny.
Good, man.
Yeah, it was
Did
great,
he have
dude.
good shows out here?
Yeah, Lewis was in
I
America.
missed it.
when I-
That's
but
when we met.
That's right.
Yeah.
Dude, it
New
was
York.
so good.
Oh, he's
Yeah,
great.
I love Theo, man. He has a way with words, and I just want to know how his brain works. You've done a podcast with him,
Yeah.
and it's just like that dude's brain. Like watching him think is the best part.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, I
because
remember-
it
He's a
feels
genius.
like you're. Yeah, it feels like it's organic every time.
Yeah.
Right? You feel like he's really trying to put together the words.
Who's your
Yeah.
favorite comic?
Patrice O'Neill.
Yeah,
Yes, he's
Elephant in
great.
the Room.
Yeah. I was there for that taping.
That's
Really?
awesome.
I saw that live.
Was that
man.
New York?
It was in New York. It was at Skirball Hall, which is where a lot of the specials are taped. It's an NYU like theater, New York University
Yeah.
theater school, and it was great. It was great because there was like a couple cool crowd interactions that he had.
Yeah.
in Elephant in the Room. So like just being there for that, like watching someone risk their special taping on a
That's
fucked up
ballsy.
interaction. That is ballsy, but you got to be so sure that no matter what is going to happen, you can take them out of that awkward situation.
Yeah, and that's what makes that special so good is because he takes them so far into the hole and then drags them out like 6 times.
Yeah.
That's,
And it's like
that's what it is.
What I realize about crowds is that, like, if you take them to an uncomfortable place and then reward it, it becomes Pavlovian. They stop. They stop being scared of the discomfort, and it turns into like the little bell. Where the second they feel discomfort, they're like, "Oh, it's coming."
Yeah,
The happy
it's
stuff
the
is
tension.
coming. Yeah, build it right.
Yeah.
It the first time you do it, it's awkward, and you got to really break them. But by the second or third, they want it.
Oh yeah.
They need it. They're like craving it.
But I feel like this tour, I mean, obviously you do it differently in America, but it seems like you open 10, 15 minutes of local material.
Right.
But I felt like your local material last night was some of the edgiest stuff. But in a way, it was the perfect way to like break the ice because you're like, come on, I'm talking about you guys. And but that's still like some, like was edgy. And then you got into the actual shit. And then people are like, by then you're like, well, I laughed at the bit before.
Aboriginals.
Yeah. You opened with a bit about Aboriginals, which I've never seen done in this country before.
Yeah, it was fun, man.
It was a good bit.
I mean, that's what I want to do is like when I go to a place, I want to take the thing that is like either most talked about and have a unique spin.
Yeah.
Right. So if like, I'm trying to think, in Washington D.C. there was like that mayor that like, was like found with hookers and like, or like even killed a hooker, some shit like that.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, and then he got reelected. So like everybody is like trying to find, for me, I'm like, okay, can I find a unique take on this? Or I want to take the thing you're not supposed to talk about at all.
Yeah.
Like when I was in Russia, it's like, how do I talk about Putin? When I'm here, it's like, how do I talk about the Aboriginals?
Fuck making that funny. How do you talk about it without getting arrested?
Facts. That was risky too.
Yeah.
How did they respond to it? They all loved it.
They translated the bit wrong, and I didn't think the bit was that great. But the bit,
So there was a translator talking in people's ears.
I did their version of Kill Tony when I was there, and so I had a guy kind of like saying it to the audience, but they weren't even familiar with the history. Like, have you heard of like Catherine the Great? Yeah. So she was like a queen of I guess Russia or so. I don't know what they were at the time. Let's just call it Russia.
Yeah.
And then
that area.
Yeah, that area.
Yeah.
And then
Luke's lost. He's
I
checked
watched
out.
The Bachelor. I don't read books. So you guys just have a chat. I'll be here. When you want to talk about Love Island, come back to me.
I mean, their country like really started the idea of getting strangers to marry you.
Yeah, right.
So-
Okay, I'm back in. All right. Great.
So basically the idea was Catherine the Great was also known as Catherine the Horsefucker, and apparently she died fucking a horse.
Right.
Right now,
That's a legacy.
Well, getting
that's a
fucked by the
legacy.
horse.
Sorry,
Yeah.
getting
Yeah.
fucked by the horse. Yes,
But like, respect if she's the one in that relationship doing the fucking.
that'd be awesome,
Yeah.
Imagine
But
if you
she
fucked a
was going
horse
for
so
it.
hard that you died.
dude. That'd
That's
be
good.
legendary.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, who knows what would happen? It's hard for me.
And then
to
they had
even
to put the
imagine that.
horse down afterwards as well.
Well, yeah, because they'll never have that experience again.
Yeah.
Life isn't worth living.
No, not at all. You got the best dick of your life, Anyway, so my take on it was, I was like, Do you guys remember that picture when like Putin came out and he was like topless on a horse?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like,
That's the only thing I know about Russia.
it's the only thing, right? Everybody
Yeah.
knows this image,
Yeah.
and everybody was making fun of him. So the joke I had was like, guys, no, that's progress. It's like you used to be underneath the horses, and now at least you're riding them, right? And I thought it was a fun little thing, but they had no clue that Catherine the horse fucker fucked a horse, the translator. So he was just translating it like, Putin fucks horse.
Yeah, right.
So, I was like, so it just became worse, but it was an attempt,
Yeah, that's
Even weirder if they just start pissing themselves laughing at that. They're like, very good.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
they
Whatever you
butcher the
said.
joke and they're still like, this is great. That's funny, man.
How have you found having like Australian comics open for you? Have you got like a vibe of the scene down here?
You know what? It's weird because I haven't really like felt it. We had one in Perth, we had Brisbane as well, and then you guys last night. But like, I haven't felt, and maybe it's the comics that are doing the shows I'm doing, but like, I haven't felt like the big PC thing that I've heard about Australian comedy.
Yeah.
It's there.
That could be the
I'd
guys
say,
who are opening for me that are you
Yeah.
guys are not like that.
Yeah.
So
I
think
maybe
so.
it's like you're in that ilk.
Yeah.
But people say, especially Melbourne,
Yeah.
that it's like super PC, and I didn't think you guys were politically
Well,
correct.
a lot of the people opening for you are like, we're big online. We're kind of outside that system.
Well,
yeah.
we saw a lot of gigs and stuff in Melbourne, but like, yeah, one thing I noticed in performing to your crowd last night was like I did some shit that maybe I wouldn't usually do at that club. On a regular night, like I did the Comics Lounge Wednesday, Thursday night, and I chucked in some different stuff because I was like, and they responded a lot better
go
to
as
the
edgy
edgier
as
shit.
you can with them. They want that.
I know,
Yeah.
and like even watching Mark even before you come out, and like, man, we couldn't even say like, if I just talked about like, oh, black people do this, white people do this, I don't think that would go that well.
Really?
And Mark, obviously, I think you guys get cut some slack because like everyone knows like, oh, in America that's normal.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like if you
Yes.
come in with the accent doing that kind of stuff,
There's a Borat
you know,
effect.
like Mark came on and did the stuff at the Gay Pride Parade and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
It's just like if I came on, a straight white guy in Melbourne,
Yeah.
not everyone, and it wouldn't even be the crowd. It just a minority would respond poorly to that.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I guess it's just a thing where I'm happy to. There's some stuff that I do on tour
Yeah,
at
yeah.
my own shows that I wouldn't do at rooms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you can. I mean, don't get me wrong. You're going to get backlash, but like the more known you become, the more okay they become with
I've
it.
only been known for 4 years.
Okay,
So,
so
yeah.
then they'll start to get on board.
Yeah.
But like, people when they're in a room full of strangers, as long as everybody's laughing, they start to think things are okay. It's the mob
I think
effect.
I like doing that stuff.
If the bit's
I've
good,
always-
the bit's good. you
Yeah.
know?
If the bit's good, the bit's good. And also, it's like, I think what a lot of times comics forget to do is make it silly. And like, even if you look at the harshest comics bits, like, it's silly when we laugh. The
Yeah.
point is real,
Yeah.
but the laugh is always silly because you can't not laugh at silly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're not you could look at any bit that I tell, no matter how fucking harsh it is. When it comes to the laugh point, you're like, all right, come on, this is
Yeah.
Well,
this is fun.
I
Yeah.
think the misconception,
Maybe
it's-
except the little climate girl. I kind of went crazy on the climate girl.
What did you call it? Let's not
That's
say
not
that.
for a podcast.
Call it-
That's
Yeah.
for a live show.
Yeah, well, one thing I noticed about your show last night was like your takes on things are really progressive. Like when you give your actual opinion, like there's some bits it's pro this and it's like yay, but you also you explore the other side,
Right.
But then kind of bring it back round to
Yeah.
like, nah, but come on.
I never want you to know how I feel about anything. I think that's like the comics.
I
greatest.
agree. I really like.
Yeah, I'll be
that.
honest, I couldn't get your vibe for a lot of the shit. I was like, I don't know if he's kidding. I mean,
That's the thing. It's like that's our superpower, right?
Yeah.
It's like if we give up, like there are comics that are like politically motivated, right? And like,
But they can only present one side of the argument.
Yes.
Because if you're like whether it's Trump or the left, it's like if I'm this, I have to say these opinions and I
Yeah.
have to make fun of the enemy
Yeah.
and I can't sympathize with them, otherwise I lose my crowd. Whereas if you don't,
because they're not your crowd.
Exactly.
You're hijacking their ideas.
exactly.
So you don't really have fans.
Yeah.
You guys both have something similar in common,
Yeah.
which is a way of thinking about the world, and they want that confirmed.
Yes.
With my people, it's we like fucked up jokes.
Mm.
We don't care if you're pro-abortion or anti-abortion. Give me the fucked up take
Yeah.
on a thing.
Yeah.
But you gotta believe it. They want when they see me in the bit.
Yeah.
They gotta feel like I believe what I'm saying. It doesn't matter which way it is.
Yeah.
Yep.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like as a comic, man, your superpower is not for everyone to know how the fuck you feel about something. It's just when you say it, it should feel true. It should feel authentic. Like, you don't know how Bill Burr feels about something before he says it, but then when he says it, you're like, he believes that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you believe in the moment, like in the rage, you're like, okay.
That's it.
Yeah.
Message received.
And then he'll turn it around and be like, here's what all the people who hate me right now think.
Yep.
And then you win those people over and you just keep going like
You're
this.
acknowledging them. You're like
Yeah.
saying, listen, I get it. I get what, and that's the dance, man. That's the fun when you like start putting together like the hour set. It's, for me, it's always about the push-pull. It's like, how far can I push? Okay, these jokes are a bunch of things about women. How far can I push them before they break and they're just like, they don't want to even laugh and enjoy the show? And I don't want that. I'm not in here to piss people off. I'm a comic. I like it when people feel joy and laugh. And I want to push them the closest that they can to being like, oh boy. But at the end of the day, I want them to laugh.
It's an awful feeling when
worst.
people get like angry.
The worst.
You know, it's never the intention. Sometimes it's obviously unavoidable with some stuff, but like it's never
We'll crack eggs
ever
to
the
make an
intention.
omelet, but that's not what we want. Like,
Yeah.
we want the omelet, right? Like, we want you to feel happy and joyful, and we just want to go about it in the way that we feel is most authentic to ourselves.
Hey, sorry to interrupt this.
I'm not
amazing...
sorry.
Oh, you're not sorry?
You're welcome for the
you're-
interruption.
You know what? I'm not sorry because we have to tell you about the best underwear in the game.
Want to.
Contractually obliged. Signed a contract, but
Yep.
wanted to sign the contract. But
Exactly.
also want to plug. But also, if we didn't want to plug it, we would have no option.
Now, I want to tell you guys about Nobby from the passion of my heart,
And
right?
I
and
signed
my
a
bank
contract
account.
that legally explicitly states I must tell you about how good Nobby underwear is. And I got to say,
How
it's
good is
good, but also I have to say that.
How good is it?
But I want to say that, but at the same time,
Yeah, okay.
it must be said.
How good is it though?
So good.
Yeah.
Nobby.com.au is where you get it. I'm wearing
Yeah.
it now. That's not contractually
I'm also
obligated.
wearing it now.
Yeah,
Not
see, free will, that
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
And-
Imagine if there was someone from Nobby every morning when we get up, just
Checking your
like
undies.
gunpoint, forcing us. To
Oh, are you
wear
boys
Nobby.
wearing your Nobby underwear?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I'm actually free balling.
Yeah.
And they go off to the death squad.
And also, we live in Australia, so we don't do that anymore.
Yeah, true.
Gun thing.
Nobby.com.au to get the best underwear in the game. How much is it? 20 bucks
20
a month.
bucks.
Too slow. 20 bucks a month.
But is it flexible and can people change their subscription anytime?
Absolutely.
Of course.
And is the underwear itself flexible? You could probably do gymnastics in it. I'm not
Yes.
flexible. Did you see that? Can't even straighten my leg.
Yes, but that wasn't the Nobby restricting Lewis's leg movement.
No.
It was your jeans.
Yes.
Which are way too small.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
and
you need new jeans.
Yeah, I do need new jeans. I'm going to get some new jeans
Yep.
because they're actually getting holes here. Can you see?
Well, great, because that's good advertising for us, because you can see your Nobby underwear.
Let me see my Nobby.
You can also see your knob
Check
as
out
well.
my Nobby, guys.
Yeah.
Have a look.
Did you just rip them more?
Yeah, I need new jeans. Check out my Nobby, guys. That's how passionate I am about
Do
this
you regret
underwear.
that? You just ripped your jeans right at the dick.
I'm gonna be honest. I bought new jeans the other day, but check out my Nobby, guys. Aren't they good? Hey,
Oh,
jeez,
wow.
that's the best underwear plug you'll ever see in your life.
Yeah, someone just ripping off their pants because they're that passionate about underwear.
I'll be walking home like this.
I wouldn't have done that if I were you.
Anyway, guys.
Nobby.com.au, and you know what? Thanks to Nobby, Lewis can afford that.
Back to the episode.
And like the highest difficulty. Like, if you're gonna play the game, play it. The highest level.
Well, yeah, that's the thing about. That's why I always get so frustrated when comics get like taken down by media for like dark jokes, especially earlier on in their career. Is people don't understand, like, the darker a joke is, the harder it is to pull off.
Yeah.
Meaning, when you're writing it, you're going to tank more often, especially if you're newer. And the only way to learn how to approach like dark, contentious topics in an insightful, thoughtful way is to be shit at that.
Yeah.
Until you work it out.
for years.
Yeah.
Dude, there are premises that you guys will go back to when you're like 10, 12 years in comedy. There are premises that you probably had 2 years in.
Yeah.
You're going to go back to it
Yeah.
with the skills to do it.
Yeah.
Like there were jokes where I just didn't have the skills. I knew it was
Yeah.
funny, but I didn't have the skills.
I'm trying to do this bit on religion right now, and I've put it on the back burner because I've done a couple times, and
Yeah.
it gets laughs, but I'm like, yeah, I don't feel comfortable. I feel like I'm not there yet. And it annoyed me.
It will
and-
happen.
but that's fine. And
What's
I knew
the
that.
premise? Can you talk about it or no?
I just have this bit. Oh, so there's like a bunch of bits. So there's the main bit is like, oh, we need to stop thinking about like who made this and who. I was arguing with my religious mate, and we were arguing about who made this, who made what, and I was like, we need to stop arguing about who made this, who made what, because even if God did make the universe, China's made pretty much everything else since. And then like I just go on this thing about why we should be worshipping China over God. And like, I go through all the stuff China's invented and all the stuff. And I'm like, yeah, God's doing this. But China, dude, wheelbarrows, shit like that. And
This is good.
And, my mate was like on a mountain and he's like, man, like, he's like, all right, okay, I got lost hiking. He's like, God showed me the way. He goes, my phone died. And he's like, God told me to go north. And I was like, yeah, well, China invented the compass. So technically,
that's
China.
good.
So stuff like that.
There might be a way to like take the severity out of it. Be like, you can be like, honestly, guys, I'm just trying to sell my flat. They pay cash.
Yeah.
Or like you right? Like,
Yeah.
so it's like that because they do buy up all the real estate here, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, I think I just love the silliness of it. Like every time the silliness pops
it's
in.
like I do a serious thing about God, and then I'm like, but like God ain't won 18 gold medals in badminton at the Olympics, dude. China is straight up killing it. So like the joke is just a bunch of stereotypes and like why China's a superpower.
Yeah.
It's kind of like why China is the modern superpower over old religion is
Right.
essentially the premise of the bit. But I feel like I've done bits and pieces of it, and I feel like I just haven't got it yet. But that's okay. I'll keep working on it.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's like God made like the world once, right?
Yeah.
Mm.
And it's like China makes a new iPhone
Yeah.
every September.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like every September, there's a new iPhone.
Yeah.
You know
They
what I
pump out heaps of them.
Heaps of iPhones. Like we've explored the galaxy. Only one world.
Yeah.
He only nailed it once.
He
Hey,
only
a
nailed
lot
it.
of fuck ups out
That's
there.
right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's like,
Yeah.
that's right. But you could be like, at the bare minimum, they're batting a higher percentage. We have to admit. Like, you know what I mean? God can make a lot of shit, but you don't know what's going to stick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is good.
So how long have you been doing stand up?
I think I'm coming up on 13 years.
13 years.
I think.
Yeah.
I'm either 12 or 13, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So obviously a lot of people know you now, but like I was talking about this with Mark, your opener, backstage, and he was like, it took Andrew 10 years to blow up overnight.
Yeah.
So what were you like when you were kind of at our level, like 4-5 years in?
So I got TV pretty early.
Yeah.
So I was doing TV, and I was funny, but I was still trying to figure out what I wanted to talk about. Kind of like honing it, finding my voice, all that kind of stuff. But I was getting the TV, and I started to get some money from TV, and
Was this MTV?
I was doing all the MTV stuff. And then like for a moment in time, I was like the guy at MTV, and it was at the end of like the MTV reign essentially. But like I hosted Spring Break, I did all that kind of like old iconic shit that I grew up with.
Yeah.
But and I had a bunch of like TV shows on there.
As in, like, we're down here at Daytona Beach with Blink-182, like that type of thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cancun, it was wild. And I knew it was the end of MTV Spring Break because all the sponsors were kind of weird. It was like Target.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't like sexy brands, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You saw Target, you're like, we got to get out while I still
Brawny,
can.
paper towels. You know what I mean?
no.
It's like, whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I had this success in television, and
While still doing stand-up.
my whole reason for doing TV was to build up followers online, because I very early saw that was currency, right? I didn't understand what YouTube space was. I didn't understand what, Twitter, I think, was happening back then. We didn't even have Instagram. But I was like, I knew I had a Facebook page, and I was like, that's currency.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, how do I get those followers? Okay, who is getting up at the clubs? And I looked at all the people that were getting up the clubs, and they were all on Best Week Ever. Do you guys remember that show? It's like a shitty like talking head show. It was like, or I Love the 90s. And it was just like a bunch of comics and like pseudo celebs talking about, the week and the things happened.
Yeah, vaguely remember that. Yeah.
Some dumb shit. But I was like, okay, they're on that every week on VH1. People recognize them, and they're at the Comedy Cellar and the Comic Strip and all these clubs. I need to get on a weekly show. So I end up getting on this show, Guy Code, which was big success in the States in terms of like the demographic it targeted. And it was on a channel no one gave a fuck about, and it wasn't the flagship show, so they didn't even really care what we said.
Yeah.
which is always the ingredient to success.
Perfect.
Nothing
Yeah.
you put money in works except for Marvel. They're the only people that put money in shit and it actually works.
Yeah.
Like,
True.
Like think about everything else flops when you put money in it.
Yeah.
Except fucking Marvel. Maybe Harry Potter was really good too. But
Yeah.
like it's
Star
very
Wars
rare.
as well.
Yeah, but Star Wars they didn't think, right?
It's gonna flop.
No, Star
It's
Wars
gonna
didn't start with money.
It didn't start
Star
money,
Wars
right?
was
Initially,
broke,
it was
and
just like
they were like, "Oh, this isn't going to work,
It's
so
gonna be
have
horrible."
$2."
I
Yeah.
don't think it
And
even
it
worked when
worked.
it came out. I think it became a cult thing afterwards. Apparently, I was talking to my dad about it.
Star Wars.
He's like, it wasn't. He goes, it was popular, but he goes, it wasn't like it's now popular.
So the second one
I think
is
the
he goes
second one.
massive.
He goes, yeah. As soon as Empire Strikes Back,
Back.
came out, and then
That was
like
it.
Darth Vader
Yeah.
was the father, everyone was like, okay, we're in.
We're in.
You know what I mean?
And then they probably go back and watch the first one. It just
Yeah.
becomes.
But now with the newest Star Wars, they've put so much money into it.
I think it was just for
And
nerds
it's-
at the time.
It's all right.
It's all right.
It's Star Wars, kinda. They got lightsabers, so
Yeah, there's some front flips. and
Yeah.
shit. Yeah. It's white people being athletic.
Yeah.
We get it. You know what I mean?
yeah, we need
Yeah,
superpowers
it's just-
to do flips and shit.
It's
I
just the
hate
NBA for
superhero
white
movies.
people.
Yeah.
That's all it is. Just jumping high for no reason. So I got this MTV shit, and then my whole thing was like, all right, I'm gonna get on TV as much as I can, so I can get as many followers as I can, and then
Yeah.
I'll do whatever with the followers, because I don't know how long TV is gonna last, but I know if I can get those people following me, I can provide them with content. I can sell out shows.
They're
The
real
whole thing.
humans.
Yes.
Yeah.
All I want to do is do stand up. So I was like, that's how you do it. I do that. I do some sitcoms, etc. And eventually, kind of like relationship with MTV, they kind of move on from me. I do a sitcom after that. It doesn't go. And early on, I start thinking about dabbling 100% into YouTube.
Yeah.
I basically was up for a TV show. And I was like, if I don't get this, I'm going all in on YouTube. And I got it.
Is this like 2012, 2013, or like?
I forget the exact.
Because
Maybe it
YouTube
is.
kind of started popping like actually 2013, 14.
Yeah.
It might have been around then.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly sure, but we were doing what is it, 2019 now?
Yeah.
So we were doing the podcast. We'd probably do it 5 years. So let's say it was maybe like 2014, 2015.
Yeah.
I think that's like
Is this
2
flagrant
years
or-
after
Brilliant
YouTubers
idiots,
came
yeah.
up.
So
Like,
that's
when
where.
when everyone saw, oh, it can be a job.
Yes.
And then a couple years after that, I was like, oh, you can do it too.
Dude,
Yes.
now YouTube is like a podcast network.
It is.
Yeah.
100%. And it's like, so like I'm like, okay, if I don't get this show, I'm going all into YouTube. And I started creating these shows. There's an old show that I have on YouTube called This American Hype, where I was, there's an NPR series called This American Life.
Yeah.
So I was kind of like spoofing that. And I would just do bits into the camera, and we would write a bit every week or 2 bits every week. And they would be like these flagrant takes on like topical things that were
Yeah.
like a little wild.
Yeah.
And I just did it right to camera with like the flash editing, and
Yeah.
it was like fun. And we had little pictures popping up. My brother was shooting and editing it, and like me and another guy were writing it. Rob, shout out to Rob Mayo. And I got this
Actually,
show.
shout out to band on this show. We don't do shout outs.
Yeah,
It's
shout
an
out to
official
our
rule
band.
we have.
Yeah.
So
Fine,
just wouldn't
sorry.
want to.
I
Yeah,
apologize.
could
Scratch
you
it.
actually
Cut it.
retract it?
Yes, yes, I
So-
retract all shout outs.
Great, thank you.
All
Continue.
credit. I will take all credit for everything I've done in my career.
Yeah.
We'll give none to anybody
That's
else.
good.
Thank you.
That's what we're
Absolutely.
about.
I don't thank you for bringing me on here.
And that's great.
It's great because we wouldn't want to be
Shout out
shouted
to me for being here. Yeah.
Oh, could you retract that actually as well?
So, so I did the YouTube thing. I got this other show. I moved away from YouTube, and then I started putting out the clips, obviously, because nobody wanted to buy my special. You guys have probably heard that story a million times. And then what I was up for one more show is this Vice show that ended up flopping like super badly, and it was gonna be like
Obviously, because you weren't in it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's it. And it was a horrible idea, but let's say because I wasn't in it. And I said this time around, I was like, and this I already had success on YouTube. I'd already been doing stuff, but I was still flirting in like the regular TV
Yeah.
world, auditioning for shows, trying to think of shows I could sell them, you know, like dropping in, for example, the travel show that I do. We had a deal to potentially sell that to this travel food company.
Yeah.
And they pulled out in a real piece of shit way. We filmed it. We did the pilot and everything. It's up. You can actually look at the pilot. I put it on my YouTube. But, and I was at Burning Man. I was going on the way to Burning Man. I go to this Burning Man thing every year.
Yeah.
And I just asked them, hey, do me a favor. If you don't want to do it, just tell me the day before I go to Burning Man. I know you can wait until you can wait till Monday.
Yeah.
Just tell me Friday or Saturday, because once I'm there for 9 days with no internet.
Yeah.
And then right
You'll
after
be thinking
that,
about it.
No, not even that.
No.
After that, I have to fly to Europe to go on tour, and I want to film my tour for my next special.
Yeah.
So I was like, if you're not going to be involved, just let me know so I could buy the tickets and everything now. Just don't fuck me over. It's one day. It shouldn't mean anything to you. Just don't fuck me over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course they fucked me over. So they wait until the next day to tell me they're not going to do it. I enjoy Burning Man. Somehow with Alex and Matt, we scrapped together the team, and that's where I did Views from the Sis
Yeah.
in Europe. But we organized that on the Winnebago back to drop it off. Like we had like 5 days to find a shooter who could just leave his life and then come with us to Europe. Like it was nuts. That's Views from the Sis. We put out Views from the Sis.
I didn't realize you shot that in the UK.
Yeah, we shot in UK, Amsterdam, Oslo, and one other place I forget. London, Amsterdam, Oslo, some other shit. And Denmark. And then that came out. That was successful. Obviously Rogan happened, and then I was up for this Vice show, and they went somewhere else, and I said, if I don't get this, I'm going all in on YouTube. I'm not even going to be pitching shows. I'm going to create my own show. I put it right on YouTube. And ever since then, we've been off to the races, man. It's been pretty crazy.
So the best thing you've ever done?
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
But everything I did needed to happen to get here.
Yeah. You had to get like rock bottom almost.
Yes, I had to be completely disillusioned with the industry. I like there's always that little...
It's hard to go all in with it
Yes.
if there's the chance of like, oh, but maybe.
Because it looks sexy.
Yeah,
it
does.
still looks sexy, right?
Yeah.
Like we all see TV, we see like some beautiful, amazing special, and we're always like,
Yeah.
I mean, that would be nice.
Yeah.
See, we left our jobs on. We used to be on national radio, and we left in May.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Both
Do
of you guys
this.
had a show?
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is what the podcast used to be a radio show. Now it's just a podcast.
Interesting.
And it's he's more successful for us. And we love all the people at the radio and stuff. But I think we're going to go back in October and just do a month because they want us to fill in.
Yeah.
Just you know every Sunday or whatever.
Yeah.
So But man, as soon as we went all in on this podcast,
It's the best
the
decision.
fans are like,
Changed.
all the people come out to shows are like, probably 60%, 70%
Yeah.
listen to the podcast.
Easy.
Really?
And it's
Yeah.
like the best thing we ever did
Because
for our stand-up careers. And
Oh,
Yeah.
100%.
it was a
and
great
you own
move.
it. You have it. Nobody
Yeah.
can control you.
it's ours.
Because
Yeah.
like when we're on radio, people are like, when are you on? Like I don't listen to the radio, and it's like people didn't even fucking realize we had a podcast. Like you can listen to the radio show on the podcast. They're like, how do you do that?
Yeah.
And it's like
Yeah.
it's the same feed as this one, dick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it just made it hard to be a fan, and also we like having
We're
someone else being in charge of your progression is super frustrating.
Yeah.
And like that was probably because I've always kind of been all in on the online thing because we just don't. The industry is very controlled.
Yeah.
And I'd say radio was. We had the opportunity, and I was like, well, I should try it.
Yeah.
You know, I
It was
shouldn't just
awesome
write
fun.
off. And it was awesome fun, except for them being in control of your progression.
You got to know what you don't like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Otherwise, you'll just be like thinking your entire. It's like people who like have only slept with one person. The rest of your life, you're thinking, well, what is other pussy like? You know, what is another dick? Like,
Yeah.
What if? And if you went through, if you slept with a lot of people, how awful it is. So when you get something great, you're like, I need to keep you. You're the best. And I think that once you create your own shit, you get addicted to it. Like I'm addicted to it.
It's awesome. It's
and also
the
there's
best.
nothing I can't make that I don't want. Like I never dreamed to like make movies or like make a TV show. I've done it.
No,
it wasn't even fun.
I've no desire to do it. Like I think a lot of other comics want that TV show. I think especially in Australia, they're striving for that mainstream
they think they
success.
do.
I don't know if they want the TV show. I think they want the validation of
Yes.
someone going, "We choose you because you're good
I
enough."
agree.
Yeah.
That's what they think they want the TV show.
Yeah.
Once they go do it, dude, it's not fun.
I just want a tour. Like I just want
Yes.
people coming out to shows. Like
But-
that's all I want, really.
Yeah. It's a weird. It's weird. It's most people truly don't know what they want in life, man. And a lot of times you get what you want, you just don't realize what you want.
I started doing stand up and I was like, this is for me. Like this is it. It was like the first gig and I wasn't even that good. And I was just like, oh, okay, I think this is what I
Yeah.
want to do. And I just kept going back. I was like
Yeah.
addicted to it. I wasn't even doing well at the start. It
Yeah.
took me like 8 gigs to like get a decent laugh.
Yeah.
And it was just like, I don't
It's
know
the
why.
best.
I don't even know. It's even thinking about it now. I was like, why the fuck did I keep going back
Yeah.
to just a bomb? Like,
Yeah. No, you love it, man. It is the fucking best.
And you can just if an opportunity doesn't work out, you can just create it. You know, like I got to a point where I was big enough and I was good enough and I wanted to do my first special. went around, pitched it all. They're like, oh yeah, we can't touch you because of the style of humor.
Yeah.
So I just launched a crowdfund,
Yeah.
and we funded it in a day, and then went on to
He
beat
got
the world
$50,000
record.
US
Amazing.
crowdfund.
Amazing.
That's like
man.
the biggest one.
It's
in
still the biggest in the world
That's
ever
amazing.
been done, and it's just because having the genuine connection with the audience of going, hey, I want to make this for you, and no one else is going to help me, so let's do it together.
Yeah.
And it paid off.
People respond better
believe in
to it
you.
when they
Yeah.
watch it. As
I mean, that's how we
They're
first
invested.
started
Yeah.
talking.
Yeah, I remember.
Because
Yeah.
you were like, you first started making waves in Australia, so you were probably on that. Maybe it was a while ago, but it was right before you started getting like super big.
Right. Some clips were going around.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
I
yeah.
messaged you and I was like, oh man, try crowdfunding. This is what I did and it
Yeah.
worked for me.
Yeah.
And then even like, if I didn't have an online audience, we never would have connected.
For
you know?
sure. Yeah, it's amazing, man. It's a lot of people call it the future, and it's like it's the now, dog.
It's present.
Yeah, it's
You're
the
late if
present.
you're
It's a
not
little
starting.
bit the past, almost like yeah. But get on it. I mean, I tell people.
I
they
think
should
that's
absolutely
one
get
thing
on it.
people need to learn is it's never too late to start.
I mean, you don't have a fucking chance if you don't. Like, it's not.
Yeah, it's like you start now,
You
then
have to.
in a week. Like it's better to
Yeah,
start.
you are fucking Blockbuster.
Yeah.
Don't make that mistake twice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Right?
also when you start, you have to be shit. It's like
Yeah.
the online thing. People think that the online thing and stand up is like, oh, it's the same. There's some transferable skills, but
Yes.
people don't realize that the online thing is another full-time job.
Who loves posting? Everyone.
Yeah.
I post, that's all I do all day.
There's
Post.
that's another thing that like it completely makes me like rethink self-celebrating. Like I know there's a lot of people who are in like traditional media or like traditional careers.
Yeah, we're all
and
sitting here
structure.
fucking jerking ourselves off. By the way, guys, my new special comes out next week, but it doesn't matter. I
There we go.
self-funded that too.
So it's like, but real talk, you got to
Zach's
do
so
that.
happy I got in the plug there. He's
You
like,
got to
good.
do it.
Yeah.
But you got to do it because like all the people that criticize us for doing it, they have billion-dollar companies that are promoting them.
Who else
we
is
don't
gonna
have
promote
a
us?
billion-dollar
Yeah,
company,
I know.
so
If
we
I don't-
have to do it,
If I don't
dickhead.
say it on
Yeah.
a podcast, then no one's gonna buy it.
Must be nice when a billion-dollar company tells everybody how great you are every day on social media.
Yeah.
We don't have that, so we got to fucking do it, and we have to be even more clever.
I've had other comics
Absolutely.
say to me at gigs like, "Bro, you're shameless, eh?" When it comes to comedy festival, and I'm like,
Yeah.
because who
Yeah.
else is gonna promote it?
You know what I'd be really
I'm not on the
shameful
fucking
of?
board.
Yeah.
I don't get even put on the board of all the other shows at the festival because I'm not at a festival managed venue here.
Right.
I just do like my own show. All the people come
Yeah.
online, and I'm like, how else will people know about
They
it?
decide not to promote us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they actually avoid it. Like even on the website of the comedy festival, they don't link my tickets
Yeah.
properly. they write the link, but they don't include a hyperlink.
He's in the festival.
So they
Good luck.
just write my. But in their shows, they make
Yeah.
it very
Hyperlink.
easy to buy
Yeah, yeah.
tickets.
Fuck them. It doesn't matter. I mean,
Yeah.
like, who cares about the festival? But just take their money. Take
Yeah.
their money and take their fans. I mean, that's
Yeah.
the best case scenario because they're gonna see a bunch of shit and then they're gonna see you and you're gonna look even better
That's it.
against it. But like, yeah, you just gotta celebrate yourself. It's just not even a question. It's
For
like
sure. 'Cause
all these people who are like anti-self-celebrator and then they turn on hip hop and they don't say a single fucking thing.
there you
It's
go.
like, you fucking dumbasses.
Yeah.
Shut up.
It's like you listen to brag rap all day.
All day. And the
Yeah.
second, we're like, you guys want to come to our show? I mean, I'd really like it if you can.
Yeah.
How could you post? How could you want people to be at your shows?
And these people don't understand. It's like, I'm not posting for you. You're going to come in for free and sit at the back and not laugh because you've
Exactly.
got comedian brain. Of course, I'm going to tell the punters that I'm good.
Yep.
Because if I don't say I'm good, they'll go, oh, he doesn't even think his show's that good. I'll see the guy who reckons he is good.
Yeah.
It's not everyone, by the way. It's like a real minority. It's like everything. It's like most people are like, yeah, man, I don't give a shit what you do.
Oh yeah, but it's just people who are insecure. Because
Anyone
they
who's
can't do it.
successful doesn't give a shit
That's
about
the big thing I've
anyone
noticed.
else.
You gotta
and
get
it's
over it.
Great.
You have to get over it. You
Yeah.
have to move past it, and you have to realize that, the people that are buying, there are people that are criticizing you are not buying your tickets. So what they say doesn't matter at all.
That's it.
It's like the people that are supporting you and the people that like are actively invested. The difference between us and like most like TV networks and that kind of shit is that like everything that we accomplish, the people that support us are actively invested in our success.
They helped.
They know they helped. They got the views. They did part of this. They mobilized the people. They sell
Yeah.
out the shows. When you have like a successful show on Comedy Central, you're just someone famous to them.
Yeah.
It's not that connected.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're
It's
not
different.
that invested. They know that they're being served goods.
They see the invisible wall that
Yes.
separates them and us.
So
Whereas
it's a different game.
the
That's why we
online
win
thing-
every single time.
Yeah.
There'll never be a situation where I don't win against somebody who's on like traditional TV, even if they're more famous.
Yeah.
I'll never be a situation.
Now, before we wrap it up, there's two more things,
Yep.
okay, I wanted to discuss. One
Go.
thing, you were roasting me last night when I walked in that I looked 40.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I was telling my girlfriend last night, she's like, how's the show? And I was like, yeah, Andrew said I look like, I was like, yeah, Andrew said I age like a banana.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
she's like, oh, yeah, you do. She's like, straight up, you look like shit. And
She's into older guys.
That's what I said. And I was like, hang on. So, like, have you know this? She's like, no, like, you do have a bit of an older vibe. But she's like, that's fine. It's fine. And she's like, don't let him get you down, all right? I was just like, so I just
But you know that about you.
It's only Americans have ever told me that. So it happened in America, and I've told this story on the podcast before. I told you the story. Bar in New York, I asked everyone in the bar how old I was, and I went around to this guy. I didn't say this bit, right? So everyone in the bar, right, was like, oh, "How old do you think I look?" I'm 23, by the way. No one said
you?
under 26. Fuck off. All right. No one said under 26. I walk up to this gay guy in the bar wearing a scarf. I was like, "Hey, mate, you're clearly a great. You have a great taste, right? Whatever." I'm like, "How old do you think I am?" He's like, "Give me a spin." And I was like, I gave him a spin. He's like, all right, that was just for me. And and then he's like, are we talking about your head or your body? And I was like, both. And he's like, head, 28, body, 19. And I was like, dang, I'm killing it.
That's
down
good.
south.
You
'Cause
don't
the
want the
world's my
opposite.
gym, dude.
You don't want the opposite.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Is that better to have a better body?
Listen,
Yeah.
here's the thing. You're going to look how old you look for a long time.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna look like this until I am 40.
Exactly. You're like koalas always look old.
Yeah, I'm like
True.
Benjamin
That's
Button.
what you are.
I'm
no,
like
you're not
aging
reversing.
in the wrong way.
You're not reversing. You just staying.
Yeah.
Like how your face is.
Yeah.
You're
is
like an
gonna look
Asian
like that.
woman.
Luke, don't crack,
Yes.
dude.
Yeah, Asian
Yeah.
woman. You'll look the same for 40 years, and
You know
then
what?
one day you'll look 300.
I ate a lot of fucking rice, dude.
That's what it is,
Lemon
bro.
chicken and rice every day, man.
There you
Chicken
go.
katsu, get it in me.
Chicken ketsu.
Yeah. Oh, you're the yeah.
All right, that was your one question.
The second one. What's next for you?
You know what? I think it might be time to do a special, man. Like the full hour. I think that's what it is. We just hit 1 million views on the Crowdwork special.
Well
and
done.
I think
Incredible shit.
So I got a tour. I got to announce a few more dates. I want to do Europe. I want to do another full special, but the full hour. And then I think I'll do that. And then I think I'm going to start dabbling in other languages. So I want to do stand up in
So are you
Spanish.
going to speak another language?
Yeah, I'll do
Yeah.
I'll do Spanish, Portuguese.
Can you speak those languages?
I speak Spanish. I used to live in Spain, so
Yeah.
that will become pretty easy. But Portuguese is close enough.
Different though with like the timing, and it's a whole different language.
I've done it. I've done it in Spanish, and I can get through it. It's just got to pick the right bits because
Yeah.
certain things that like culturally don't resonate. You know, like women's rights doesn't like resonate. Like the fight for that is just like a non. Like
they don't want it, or
no, not that one. At the like, you know, that bit I had about the like the food, like women's rights in food.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I tried that in like the Spanish room, and they were like, "Well, wait a minute, there are places where women aren't good at cooking food." Like they didn't understand.
I gotta go to
Like,
Spain. Oh,
yeah, they're
shit.
like they all cook food good, right? That's
Yeah.
what they do. What else are they doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Business. You know what I mean? So like certain things don't go, but I think the next move is do it Spanish, Portuguese, like do the romance languages, the ones that I
Yeah.
could probably do, and then not too long. But
So-
I think that'll be the next special. That'll be 2 specials from now.
So when you start doing that,
Wait, you want to do a special in the other languages?
Yeah. So I think what I'll do.
Oh, I think you just want to tour there.
No. Well,
that's
then
what Cardi
that's
B's
part 2.
doing, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She's
different
doing,
language
like a
music.
Dominican.
Yeah,
Dude, she
yeah.
can't even speak English. How is she speaking other languages?
Yeah, it's a huge thing where they're just getting like the Drakes of those areas of the world and putting Cardi B on a track with it, like
Yeah.
that Bad Bunny guy,
Yeah.
who's huge, and I'd never heard of him, but he's probably making more money than Drake, and
Dude,
they
he's
just
making
start
crazy money.
linking that up.
And they're like a
It's
rabid
smart.
fan base. Yeah.
Now, if you do that
Yeah.
and you start putting out heaps of content in another language, do you set up Andrew Schultz's social media in Spanish, or do you
I
fold
might.
it into your
I
stuff
might.
that exists?
I think I might. I mean, the idea really is just like to like push the art, right? Is like to push stand up, and like that's why I went to Russia. Like I didn't go to Russia for the money. Like I went there because I think they're into stand up, and I want them to experience stand up. And then I want, like anybody in any art form, you should want to like push that around the world. So
Yeah.
it's like I want to push stand up in Spanish speaking countries and like
What's what Eddie Izzard's done?
He's done it in
France.
I think France and German. I think
And
he
he
does
started
German
German
too.
as well.
Someone
Yeah.
told me this, so it's not like people aren't doing this, right? But the idea that I just had was like stand up is the new hip hop and it's exploding
Yeah.
around the world, and I want to be the.
It's cool now to like
ambassador.
comedy, isn't it?
It's cool to do it because
Yeah.
it's the voice for the voiceless. That's what
Yeah.
hip hop was. But the thing with hip hop is that like it doesn't have. I mean, it has like the beat, but the thing with hip hop is like unless you're black, you're an outsider, and
Yeah.
even if you're not, if you're black but not American, you're still kind of an outsider.
Yeah.
Like you're a little bit of a poser. Everybody can be a comic. You
that's
can
true.
feel entitled to this.
Because every single human on earth has
made
made
someone
their
laugh.
friends
Yeah.
die laughing,
Yeah.
kind of on accident. So everyone can see themselves in a comedian.
Sure.
Because everyone relates to whatever genre it is.
Yeah.
They go, oh, I've done that at a bar one night.
Yeah.
Or I fell over and made the boys laugh.
But it empowers them. It's like
Yeah.
you get to talk about the government that's super oppressive wherever you live, and there's a laugh at the end, so the government doesn't get upset. They're like,
Yeah.
they're just clowns,
Yeah.
right? It's like the one
It's the
person.
jester.
It's the jester. The jester's the only guy who can make fun of the king to his face in front of
Yeah.
everybody, and the
Yeah.
king's laughing. So it's like, I think people are so empowered by it that I want to be this ambassador for them, and I want they grew up a lot of these comics around the world like watching my clips just because I have so many clips out, and like people transcribe these clips, so it's like. Yeah, I want to go there and I want to push and I want to like do this material and like not hours. I'm talking about maybe like 4 languages, 15 minutes each.
Yeah.
And it can be
That's
old
cool.
shit, but then a
Yeah,
documentary.
so
would be fun.
refilm old bits.
I could
Yeah.
maybe new but like I'll do a documentary of like me learning it and me shooting it there.
Yeah.
And then like it will just become one.
Well, yeah,
special.
I watched a documentary of Eddie Izzard doing that when
How'd
he was
it go?
learning France and
Yeah.
learning French.
France. Yeah,
learning
yeah, yeah.
French. Sorry, I can't speak English. We've already established that. And that's really interesting. But I think the hard one would be German because I did German.
So tough, man.
Because the problem with German is that how they structure their sentences. The verb is at the end of the sentence. So if you say I was running down the hall fast, it's I was fast haul down the running.
Oh shit.
So how do you, like, if the punchline is fucking, right? That doesn't get until the end of the
You have to
sentence.
jam
That could
fucking
help.
in the middle.
It could help because
now
you
your
could be
punch word is
you could describe something really respectful,
And then-
right? But then
yeah.
at the end, it was like, fucking.
But that's the cool thing about comedy, right? It's like we're really like exploring the genre now because now you got a situation where there are certain limitations for our jokes because of the grammatical structure we use.
Yes.
And now we can go and tell some of these things in another language. Like maybe one-liners kill in German because
Well,
of that.
having the verb at the end is the ultimate, like, obscuring what you're talking
Yeah.
about until you reveal what you're actually doing. You can set the entire scene and scenario and
Yeah.
then what you're doing.
That's interesting. I mean, look, that's what we got to do, conquer the world, man.
That's it.
That's the cool shit.
Yeah, Lewis still hasn't mastered comedy in English, so
Yeah,
you know.
that's what I'm working on. I'm working on English and then I'll try comedy. Hey, Andrew, thanks so much for
Cheers,
coming on
guys.
the
Thanks
show.
for having me, man.
Appreciate
Enjoy
it.
the grand final.
Yes, we got to go do that. Let's go do that.
And finally, you coming back to Australia?
Yes, of course, man. I
Brilliant.
love it. I think it'll be a cool situation. I got to write some new jokes, but like, I think it's a place where, it's definitely a place where it's like, every time I'm in a new tour, come out for a few weeks.
Yeah.
Just no more Adelaide first. I'm down
Yeah,
to go to
don't do
Adelaide,
Adelaide
just not
first.
first.
Just don't do Adelaide.
Oh, I gotta love my people in Adelaide. I love
Speaking
Perthville.
of, I'll be in Adelaide very soon.
Got
See you
'em.
there. LouSpears.com/gigs. All right. Thanks so much, Andrew.
Cheers,
Appreciate
man.
it.
Thanks, guys.